Once upon a time, in a quiet little town surrounded by forests and winding rivers, there lived a merchant who had once been very rich, but now had almost nothing left. He had 3 daughters, and the youngest was the most beautiful, not just in her face, but in her heart. Her name was Beauty. Where her sisters complained, Beauty was gentle. Where they wanted jewels, Beauty wanted peace. And although life had changed, she found happiness in books, in flowers, and in the simple kindness she offered everyone. But she did not know that her life was about to lead her into a story people would tell for centuries. The merchant once owned grand ships filled with goods that traveled across the seas. But one stormy night, all the ships were lost. Every box, every coin, every dream he had built vanished beneath the waves. His older daughters cried and shouted, but Beauty said softly, "Father, as long as we still have each other, we haven't lost everything." She helped him pack their belongings and moved to a small house far from town, a lonely place surrounded by fields. Life became simple. The older sisters refused to work, but Beauty cleaned, cooked, and cared for their father with love and patience. And still, she smiled. One day, months later, the merchant received a letter. One of his lost ships had returned. Though it was damaged, it carried some of the goods he had thought were gone forever. He might become wealthy again. Excitement filled the house. The older daughters begged for dresses and jewelry, but Beauty simply said, "Father, all I would like is a single rose." Her father kissed her forehead and promised he would bring one home. The merchant traveled far, but when he reached the port, he discovered that the ship had been seized for unpaid debts. He returned home empty-handed, exhausted, and heartbroken. On his way back, a terrible snowstorm blew in. Lost and freezing, he stumbled through the forest until he saw a light shining through the trees. It came from a castle, tall, elegant, but strangely silent. The gates opened on their own. Inside, a warm fire, a table filled with food, a soft bed prepared. He called out, but no one answered. He believed the owner must be kind, so he ate, rested, and prepared to leave the next morning. But just before he left, he saw a rose garden, and he remembered Beauty. He plucked a single rose. A deep roar tore through the air. From behind the trees stepped a creature taller than any man, covered in fur, with eyes that burned like embers. It was the beast. "You dare steal from me?" the beast thundered. "I gave you food, warmth, shelter, and this is how you repay me?" The merchant fell to his knees. "I only wanted a gift for my daughter. She asked for nothing but a rose." The beast paused. "A daughter who asks only for a rose?" He stepped closer. "Then she is not like the others." The beast gave the merchant 2 choices. "Either you return in 3 months, or your daughter must come in your place." The merchant trembled. "I cannot let my child die." "Then you will return alone," the beast said, "or she may come willingly." He gave the merchant a magical horse and allowed him to leave, but the rose felt heavier than gold in his pocket. When Beauty saw her father's face, she knew something was wrong. He told her everything: the castle, the feast, the beast, the promise. Her sisters mocked her. "It's your fault, all for a silly rose." But Beauty held her father's hands. "Father, you will not return alone. I will go." Her father begged her not to, but Beauty smiled sadly. "You once gave up everything for us. Let me do this for you." And so, with courage soft but unshakable, Beauty set off for the castle. The beast did not harm her. Surprisingly, he was gentle, awkward, yes, but never cruel. The enchanted servants, invisible but kind, prepared meals and cleaned the castle. Beauty ate at a long table, while the beast sat quietly at the other end. Every night, he asked her one question. "Beauty, will you marry me?" And every night, she said softly, "No, beast, not yet." But she thanked him for his kindness, and she spoke to him with warmth. Slowly, the beast began to hope. Beauty spent her days reading in the grand library, wandering the rose garden, and talking to the beast in the evenings. Even though his appearance frightened her at first, his heart did not. One day, the beast gifted her a mirror. "Look into it," he said, "and you may see anything you wish." Beauty wished to see her family. The mirror showed her father, sick, weak, alone. Her heart broke. "Beast," she begged, "may I go to him?" The beast looked away. "If you do not return, I will die." Beauty promised tearfully, "I will come back. You have my word." The beast released her. But her sisters, shocked by her fine clothes and her glow, grew jealous. They begged her to stay longer. "If she stays too long," one whispered, "perhaps the beast will grow angry. Perhaps he'll disappear forever." Beauty stayed past her promise, and the mirror showed her the beast lying in the garden, dying. Beauty rushed back to the castle. The sky was dark, the halls silent. She ran to the rose garden, and there he was, the beast, barely breathing. Beauty fell to her knees beside him. "No, no, please, you cannot leave me. I gave my word." Her tears fell onto his fur. "You came back," he whispered weakly. "I thought you had forgotten me." "Never," she said. "Beast, I love you, not for your face, not for your form, but for your heart." At that moment, the ground trembled. Light burst around them. The beast's body lifted from the earth, surrounded by swirls of gold and white. His fur melted away. His claws disappeared. The monstrous shape twisted gently until a young man, strong, tall, with kind eyes, stood where the beast once lay. Beauty gasped. He stepped toward her. "I was cursed," he said. "Only true love spoken freely could break it. And you, Beauty, have set me free." Her tears turned to laughter. The servants appeared, no longer invisible, but human once more. They cheered and celebrated. The castle glowed with life again. The prince, once the beast, asked Beauty once more, "Will you marry me?" This time, Beauty smiled. Yes. They invited her father to live with them, and her sisters learned a great lesson about jealousy and pride. And so, Beauty's kindness saved not just a man, but an entire kingdom. And from that day on, every rose in the castle's garden glowed softly at night, reminding everyone that true love sees with the heart, not the eyes.